Hello, boys.
Hello, Rachel.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm one of the Yum Yum boys.
Yes. My yum yum boys.
My Yum Yum boys.
Because this is Yum Yum Podcast. I am Rachel. That is Ryan, who is my husband. But for this new show, we are joined by a third host, the lovely Bartek.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Bartek. Do you feel honoured to be a Yum Yum boy?
I am. I'm very honoured. I didn't realise that I'd be introduced so quickly.
A YYB, a Yum Yum boy.
Yum Yum boy.
How does it feel? Rachel, you're feeling very powerful for giving us this title. But as you said...
Well, you declared yumlings.
I did declare the listeners are the yumlings. And
That's
now,
good to know.
It is good to know. You should feel...
If I
the
were a
knowledge of them.
hypothetical host of this show, that's something that I should know.
You should know that. But we are, as you said, Rachel, Yum Yum Podcast.
Yes.
We're a team of people now who talk about science fiction television, and we're here to talk about something very special.
We've roped in Bartek, who is your co-host for your other podcast, Spit and Polish, to get a different perspective on a new entry in the Star Trek canon,
Whoa.
Starfleet Academy.
That's the name of the show.
And this
Star
is
Trek Starfleet
Captain-
Academy. Rolls off the tongue.
I was thinking that on the way
Captain's
here.
Log, episode 0, to give a refresh on our context going into the show, and for Bartek to introduce his perspective and maybe ask some questions. And we're going to ask him some things, including testing a little bit of his knowledge on Star Trek.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to get a little pop quiz from Rachel.
I didn't know I was the T and the P word.
Yeah, that's
Test
right.
and pop quiz.
Pop quiz, one word.
Yes, I'm going to be the Poochie of the show.
You're the Poochie of the show. Yeah.
There's going to be the fun, married couple dynamic. Then the third guy there is like, oh, this will be a funny thing to say.
Yeah, you're the Neelix.
Oh,
That's a Star Trek
insult him
reference.
like that.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, can you garner Rachel's reaction?
We both hate Neelix,
Yeah,
but
so
people who
they-
grew up with Star Trek Voyager tend to love Neelix.
I grew up with
because
Star Trek
he was-
Voyager, and they're wrong.
That's what I said. Tend to.
Tend to be wrong.
So one of you hates me, the other doesn't.
Yeah, that's it. I grew up with Bartek in my
Right.
life. But yes, that is the idea. This is the Captain's Log. So Starfleet Academy is the new hot series about to come out. We're going to go through the show in a fortnightly fashion. The first 2 episodes, I believe, are coming out on the 15th of January. And so we're going to talk about those, and then from there on out, we'll come in every fortnight and give a little update. How are we feeling about this modern Star Trek show? Rachel and I are very versed in Star Trek. I grew up with it. Rachel, you were aware of it during your life, and then when we got together, we were watching it. You were already watching it before we got together. Don't you always say like I forced you to watch it? You were watching it because it was on Channel 10.
No,
They were playing Next Gen and Voyager and
It
things.
wasn't actually Channel 10.
Oh, it was 11 or one of those offshoots.
It was the relatively recent new addition to the 10 network.
Yes,
and
my
I
favorite.
was catching random episodes, but not properly watching them. Just like half-heartedly falling asleep during a bunch of episodes.
That's how they were made to be watched. Star Trek 90s edition is very cozy. They're very cozy shows.
Well, I remember watching Next Gen the most in that early time on my own, and then it was TNG and Voyager.
Yeah, TNG's Next Gen, yeah.
And then later on we watched through TOS, the original series.
I tried to get you to watch some Deep Space Nine, and you fell off 2 seasons in, and you didn't want to go back. And I'm like, fine, we'll watch Babylon 5 as the concession.
We
the
will
other space
at
station
some
show.
stage. I still want to watch Deep Space Nine, and
The Star Trek fans are throwing rocks.
She fell off because she's a red shirt.
Oh, Congratulations.
Do you think they accept me now?
They accept you now. They're not accepting Rachel because she hasn't loved Deep Space Nine, which is the one that all Star Trek fans now claim is the best.
She tried to fight it, but it beat her because it's the Worf effect. Yeah?
So, Bartek, tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us a bit about yourself and your history / relationship with the Star Trek franchise.
Many years ago, a decade or so ago, I think it was a dozen years at this point, a friend of mine took me to see Star Trek Into Darkness.
I'm so sorry.
Because she was a big fan of Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
And that's the only Star Trek I've seen.
Really?
That friend was not me.
That was not Rachel.
No.
You didn't know Rachel then.
I had met her at that point, but maybe only like once or twice.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify because we've talked. Well, Ryan's brought up a number of times how I was obsessed with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, it was a thing in the air at that time. Sherlock was a big deal.
2013.
He was breaking into the US market with stuff like that. Then eventually Doctor Strange, and so it was he was a big zeitgeist talking figure.
It wasn't Rachel. It was my friend Amanda.
Amanda's at it again. So you've only seen Star Trek Into Darkness, which is a loose remake of Wrath of Khan.
Yes. In full, that's the only thing I've seen.
And what did you think of that entry? That's your taste of Star Trek. What did you feel about it?
It's not something I've really thought about that much, but I do remember in the years after that when we became friends, it would be something you'd bring up very often as like a reminder, this thing sucks. I'm like, oh, that's the thing I've seen.
Yeah.
No, that is the thing you've seen. And that's why we wanted to have Bartek as a co-host for this, because Rachel and I have podcasted about a lot of science fiction television. Star Trek Discovery was the thing that made Podcast happen. And this show, Starfleet Academy, is joined at the hip with that. And I thought, how about we shake up the formula? How about we get someone I know for a fact has not had the strongest relationship with it. And I even said to Rachel before we were doing this, I don't even know if Bartek's seen an episode, let alone one of the movies. And I thought maybe he's seen I swear he's seen Into Darkness, but I can't remember if he saw the 2009 movie, because a lot of people saw the 2009 movie and were like, oh man, I saw that. That was great. And they always defend modern Star Trek stuff by being like, well, you see, it's a gateway into checking out other Star Trek. And I would always rebuff, how many people actually did that? No one I knew in real life ever really sat down and watched those films originally and then said, oh, I really want to watch Next Generation as a response. But you have very little connection. Have you ever been interested in checking out any Star Trek, whether the films or the shows or anything?
Relatively, like if, putting aside the fact that I'm about to do a series on Starfleet Academy, Yumfleet Acadiyum, we can call it, maybe. I probably would just do the, blunt thing of like, oh, I'll start at the beginning, the original show.
Well, you are very much a completionist by nature.
Sometimes by accident, like my history with Gundam, where I'm like, I'll just check out that first show, and now I've seen all the TV ones.
All of the TV ones.
Even though I'm not that big into giant robots.
You say that, and then
I say that, but then I doubt myself, because look at what I watched.
And look at what you own. You own some little robots.
Yeah.
So. You have a growing collection.
Yes, you do. So let's dive into the heart of the matter here. The series that's about to come out.
I want to go first because I think I might know the least.
Oh, interesting.
Out of the three of us.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't think any of us have watched any of the trailers.
No.
Okay. I've only seen the poster because we watched a Red Letter Media video that showed it. That's why I've seen it. And they included some of the trailer footage that showed Robert Picardo.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that there are other legacy characters and that Tilly from Discovery appears. And that is all I know about the show.
And why is that? Have you just not been tempted? Are you not a person who likes going into the marketing, or your excitement is low? What's the deal there?
I assumed that the more I would see, the less I would want to watch it, and I know that you are going to make me watch it anyway.
It's a journey. It's an experience. Bartek, what about you?
It's
Knowledge?
technically a choice I make.
Yeah, it technically is a choice. It's marriage. What about yourself, Bartek? What's your knowledge going into the Starfleet Academy show? What do you understand of it? Have you seen anything? Any inklings on your end?
I don't know if I've seen that Red Letter Media video, because if I have, I don't remember the footage or the poster. It's basically just that quick synopsis I read on Wikipedia where... And I mentioned before that I've only seen Into Darkness, but I have absorbed stray information about the franchise just from
Thus you can make a red shirt reference.
Yeah, red shirt, the Worf thing. Yeah, stray things from, as you mentioned, Red Letter Media. They talk about it a lot. So, all these little things that I know, like, there's an episode called Captain's Holiday where Picard has a relationship with an archaeologist or something.
Thief. She's a thief. He loves archaeology. She's a thief.
Right. And obviously, Ryan, you've told me a lot about, various episodes. You kind of held me along as Discovery happened and told me, like, things that happened. Like, apparently, I think it was season 3, there's, like, a big time skip.
Yep.
And apparently this show's set during that?
Yes. This is a follow-up/sequel series from Discovery.
Yes. And I do remember, I don't know if your younglings know this, but years and years ago, before Yum Yum was a thing, you pitched me basically what this podcast became as like a show hosted by you, big Star Trek fan, and you, unknown Bartek. Let's watch this Discovery show because the pitch is that, it's open for new people to come in and enjoy. And I wasn't really feeling it at the time, so obviously you probably made the better decision and made a podcast with Rachel.
Yeah.
Here you guys are now. Like, I think that was 7 years ago when you made that picture. I remember it was after the Tekken episode that we recorded. And so one of the questions I have coming in is like, are they claiming that same thing for this show? Like,
this is for the young generation. This is supposed to be for the hip young kids to get into Star Trek. Yeah, they need to see that Star Trek isn't only for adults and nerds. They need to see that it's hot. Hence, they get Paul Giamatti because nothing says youth like Star of Holdovers. Paul Giamatti.
They're probably not into the thing that I learned what Star Trek was from.
Oh wow!
Now, Bartek, I would like you to use your phone to search Starfleet Academy poster.
Yeah, this is a thing, because in terms of my relationship with the knowledge going in, I know a lot without knowing anything. I've purposely not watched any trailers. I've only seen visual, like, images, little snippets, little, like, hi, I'm a cast member and I'm going to be in this show without trying to.
So I'm seeing 2 posters. One that looks like a, kind of regular looking poster, and one that I think is the thing Rachel wants me to see.
How can you tell the difference, Bartek?
How would you describe it?
Well, yeah, the normal one's just people like walking and looking serious.
Yeah.
But the other one feels like they're trying to sell me like I think they call them like the Hallmark greeting cards kind of thing, where it's a bunch of cool young people lying down on the grass looking up at me. Some of them are holding their bellies, some of them are holding hands. One of them's on an angle.
One of them's a Klingon.
It's a lady. Oh, is that the Klingon, or is that just the
guy's a Klingon?
Oh, the guy's a Klingon.
Yeah, the one with the forehead.
Yes. Oh, right. I
the famous
that.
Klingon design. Where Klingons are usually nasty guys, but now there's one laying down in a Hallmark pose.
Thanks for interrupting. Thanks for interrupting me. By the way, I think I was about to say something offensive.
No, please. You were going to say a moment ago, like, further knowledge of Star Trek, like what you understand it from. Yes, and you were going to mention like other little things that you know it from. I'm surprised you haven't mentioned Atop the Fourth Wall or To Boldly Flee. To Boldly Flee is like mostly Star Trek references.
Or I think To Boldly Flee is like just every science fiction thing ever. So if there is anything like particularly Star Trekky about it other than Fred shirt. And I don't know. Like they do a Ghostbusters scene at one point. They like recreate
They do
scenes
Star
from...
Wars as well.
Yeah.
They love their Star Wars, but we have to at least reference that. But as stated, what I know about Starfleet Academy is baseline. Like, I know it's set shortly after the last series of Discovery. I know Paul Giamatti's in it. I know Holly Hunter's in it. I know that certain legacy characters from like Star Trek Voyager, Robert Picardo's there, as well as little guest characters from Discovery are going to show up. This is a series that has been in the workings for quite some time, and we can talk about that later. But in terms of like the promotional stuff, I avoided most of it because I don't like looking at those things because it's always false to me. I like looking at them after as funny artifacts and seeing what was true and what was not. But even with movies and other shows that I'm interested in seeing, I try to keep blind to those things. I just want to experience it because often it's a joy to see how it unfolds, but even I could not help but be bombarded with that poster that Bartek just looked at, and I sighed and just said, this is going to be a rough one,
It
huh?
weirdly sort of reminds me of the way that they marketed Sense8.
To me, it's One Tree Hill. That's like a One Tree Hill 90210. Everyone's calling this 90210 in space because of that poster. And you can't help but laugh at that poster. It's very
you
funny.
get a real sense of like Poe's lore, where it's like, is this a parody or is this for real?
And that is one of the things where you have to go, is this real? And it is, everyone. We're going to be seeing it soon and watching it and discussing it.
Cool.
And I want to know, Bartek, what are your questions at the moment?
I think the biggest one I have, and I think I alluded to this when I was chatting to you the other day, Ryan, was I have a big habit of, I wouldn't call it like necessarily wiki diving, but I tend to look stuff up if I get confused. I'm thinking for this series, I'll try to like look up as little as possible about like, oh, does this make sense in the context of the wider franchise, just so I can be a bit more authentic?
Yes, I think you should
work
ask,
with what you have.
You should use us as your wiki when you come into episodes and go, okay, so this whole scene dedicated to this character, are they from something? And I can go, yes. Or no.
So I guess in that sense, like, are there any other like recommended ground rules for me in particular that you reckon would make for a better recording experience or for our younglings?
I think you should go in as you know, full of heart as possible. Even though we may have cynicism, you are a naive young lamb, and you should experience this show for yourself because you also don't watch a lot of modern science fiction television. Like, this will be a newer experience for you in that way too. Like, you're not sitting down and watching For All Mankind or Foundation or things like that. You don't engage with modern TV all that much, I would say, either.
I don't know what the newest TV show I've watched is other than like an anime.
Other than an anime. You're an anime fan, so maybe you will enjoy this on an anime fan level. I don't know, but I would say that
like
would
you're
definitely
used to shows with ensemble casts.
That's fair to say, yeah.
So that won't be...
If this show is like, you know, Sci-Fi Azumanga Daioh, then this will be right up my alley.
It'll be interesting to see how you feel about it and how much our opinions might end up swaying you as well. Because...
I am impressionable. That is something that I will admit.
Yeah, so like a lot of our conversations are going to probably lead towards like, Bartek, tell us what you think first. Because you do like recontextualize things after people have provided further context.
It's a common thing that like, oh, you know, the person who's never seen this thing before will have a more fresh take. Like, I remember we did a podcast, Ryan, about the film Main Hunnats, the first Bollywood film I ever saw, and because of me, it's also first for you. And there's a character in that film who's like a foreign language teacher, and there's like a gag throughout the film where she like misuses English quotes and someone corrects her. And you pointed out during the episode like that the first time she's introduced, it's the opposite, and she like misuses a Hindi quote and is corrected on that. So it's like the film was inconsistent with its own running gag, and I'd seen that film like half a dozen times and I never noticed it. So just, you need the fresh eyes to notice things that the experienced wouldn't. And hopefully I can do something for that.
I one of the questions I want to ask you is, what is Star Trek in your mind? Like, what does a Star Trek story or episode or thing come to you as? Because I think it has a certain pop culture expectation or legacy, and then there are things like Into Darkness, which is like for some people drastically the opposite. And what is Star Trek in your mind?
I do have a sense that like the older stuff tends to be a bit more episodic in terms of like, they go somewhere, a unique to the episode problem happens and they have to kind of work through it, and maybe there's a moral at the end. But it sounds like and I don't know when it starts, but it sounds like Discovery definitely had it. It tends to these days be a bit more of like a running narrative kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, a lot more season-long arcs and mystery boxes and things to explore and go, what does that mean?
Yeah, and I know that in the discussion of like when the newer Star Wars films came out, they got the guy that made the 2009, was it?
Yeah,
the 2009 film, which made it a bit more like Hollywood. So maybe like that was a turning point for the franchise. I don't really know about.
There's many turning points.
Yeah, and there's different iterations and time periods. I've got some quiz questions, but one general question that I have for you, because this is something that I think is going to play into the show and is part of a longer conversation that I've had with Ryan through the Discovery and even the Strange New Worlds coverage, is to you, Bartek, what is the difference, or is there a difference between the Federation and Starfleet in Star Trek?
That's a good question.
Because this is Starfleet Academy.
Would it be that the Federation is like an overall government and Starfleet's like the military or something?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But it is a fascinating thing of how often the narratives themselves blur that line in certain things, or just certain entries, even in the Golden Age and even now, there's a mixing of the two things as the same thing, even though on paper they shouldn't be,
a
but
lot
they
of
are.
conflation and crossover and blurring of things at different points. Even though it feels like it should be fairly straightforward.
Like, you can get kicked out of Starfleet, but not the Federation, maybe?
Well, planets can get kicked out of the Federation.
I meant for, like, citizens.
Yeah, but kind of like if
you're a serving officer in Starfleet, you get kicked out.
Yeah.
But if their planet gets kicked out, then the individuals also get kicked out. Right?
It's a whole... It can depend on the story, but...
Is Federation based on Earth?
It moves around.
Yeah.
Moves around. Starfleet is based on Earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Starfleet Academy back in the day is in San Francisco.
If I didn't ask that question, I would have thought it was the opposite.
Yeah, no, the Starfleet Academy and headquarters was in San Francisco.
Okay, well, I've played Watch Dogs 2. So.
Yeah, and exactly. You've played Watch Dogs 2.
And I played Destroy All Humans 2. I've played all the 2s.
Yeah. Not watched Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan, but have seen Star Trek Into Darkness, the remake of
Abrams
Wrath of Khan.
2.
So there you go. There you go.
You got any other general questions?
I've got another big Star Trek question in mind, which is, I think, a fair one to assess when it comes to what this series is going to get into, which is... I asked you about, like, what do you think Star Trek is in your mind? And you talked about, like, the episodic kind of storytelling thing. But tonally, what do you think Star Trek is tonally as a show? Because I think even you reacted to that poster with a little bit of, like, what? And I think that kind of comes down to, like, what, like, a tonal dissonance. But what is the Star Trek tone to you?
Again, because I have seen, like, stray bits of footage from those... two shows, the Kirk one and the Picard one. Not Picard, the Next Generation. See, I do know some of the shows. I do know that it tends to be a bit more like serious or professional there. Like, I'm also a Red Letter Media fan. I've seen, like, Mike Stocklasa talk about how, they shouldn't be making jokes. They should be serious, calm, and, intellectual. And I know that as it goes on, they do things that make this podcast have a very funny name.
Really?
Yes.
You've seen the Red Letter Media parody of Discovery, right?
I actually rewatched it the other day, yeah.
Yes. So I just thought it would be appropriate to ask that because Starfleet Academy as an idea is one that's been worked on for a very, very long time. And I don't know if you knew that, but
not at all.
So Starfleet Academy as an idea for a show has been
decades
around and decades in the make.
Longer than Discovery?
Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, was always trying to angle for a Starfleet Academy thing. So in the original series, I can't even recall if you hear about Starfleet Academy, and if you do, it's very briefly. But it mainly, the big examples of it coming up that matters very much is in Wrath of Khan, where you get to have, Spock's hanging around there, and you get the Kobayashi Maru test, which is the idea that it's a test that it's a no-win scenario test. And Kirk famously rigged that test so that he could win because he does not believe in no-win scenarios, and Wrath of Khan is all about him losing. Like, he beats Khan, but he loses Spock, and so he learns about...
It's like a Pyrrhic victory.
Yes, and it's a big thing, but that Starfleet thing, Starfleet Academy story, was a real anchor point there, and it's brought up many times over, like in the '09 movie and in Into Darkness and all of that. Then Next Generation came around. And one of the big things they have there as a boast of their cast was they had a kid on board named Wesley Crusher. And he was not an ensign. He was a cadet from Starfleet Academy.
Eventually a cadet.
Eventually a cadet, yes.
And that's the character everyone hates, right?
Everyone hates Wesley, yeah. Played by Will Wheaton. And in Star Trek The Next Generation, we have several episodes dedicated to hanging out at Starfleet Academy. Here's Wesley doing a little test with an alien guy, and then, oh no, Wesley's getting himself into some hot water at the Starfleet Academy, and Picard goes to Starfleet Academy to talk to this person. And did you know that Starfleet Academy has a groundskeeper called Boothby, who's a mentor to every single Starfleet captain that's ever existed because he's just a salt-of-the-earth guy? It's always been in the background of, we're trying to make this happen, and it just never came together. And one of my favorite things that we learned was when we were covering Space Above and Beyond, a series deeply needing to be seen by more people, we had the benefit, the fortune of being able to interview cast and crew, and we talked to the co-showrunner, one of the co-creators of that series, Glenn Morgan, and that show started out in a boot camp, and he was told by the Fox network executives, ease up on that boot camp because Star Trek's making an Academy show and we can't, they've got the market on young people in a school environment for science fiction setting. So you can't do that because they're making the Academy show. And that was in 1995. Mm-hmm. Here we are in 2026, and the Starfleet Academy show is finally out.
We were 2, now we're 32.
It has been a long journey. And Rachel, I think you could even mention how Star Trek Discovery tried to make Starfleet Academy happen itself.
There was a backdoor pilot, basically, as an episode of Star Trek Discovery, where one of the characters, Tilly, has started working at the Academy, and then we see her on a mission with her cadets.
All of whom are characters we've never seen before and are treated as, wouldn't they be great as main characters to a television series?
Right.
Here's this one with anxieties, and here's this one that's come from an oppressed background, and here's one of the people who's from the oppressor background.
They learn to get along during the mission, but they still have a long way to go.
Wouldn't that be great to watch as a show?
So because this is set during that time skip, how far beyond, I guess, Next Generation is this time skip?
800-900 years.
Do fans consider it kind of a betrayal that this show is happening in this era that wasn't a thing before Discovery?
That's a great question. And I think most of it comes down to they're tired. The fans are just
we don't care anymore.
if it's going to happen, if they're going to make, as the poster like is selling, if they're going to make that type of show, you may as well make it in a time period where they can't bring in the actors from the shows we like as much to embarrass themselves. I think that's the general reaction from some of the more diehard fans.
Which is why,
that question has just been ringing alarm bells. Like, wait, this is long hyped and it's happening in a new era?
Having Picardo come in.
Yeah, Picardo's an actor who is in Star Trek Voyager, and he will be in this series as his same character because he's a hologram.
Do I ask the obvious question?
Yeah.
Did he get the role because his name's Picardo?
Great question. He actually has a joke about that where he says, if Captain Picard can go to space, surely Robert Picardo can. Robert Picardo, beloved character actor man in every movie ever made. We had the benefit of covering on Spit and Polish Small Soldiers, and he was the scientist, the goofy scientist in that one scene, and he's like a bald guy with buggy eyes, and he's a delightful actor, and he will be in this. But yeah, it's a great question because people have kind of been happy at the fact that there was going to be a Starfleet Academy show. My sister said to me, "Oh, I was looking forward to a Starfleet Academy show when I was a teenager." And I'm like, really? Okay.
Because I was just going to say, earlier you were talking about how, we got all these hints. Like, there's this grouchy groundskeeper, there's this character, there's that character.
They've been building up, one day perhaps we could do it here.
And now it's 900 years after that. It's like, well, all the hype. Where's the hype?
Well,
the hyped up stuff.
The fact is, it exists. Is the hype enough?
Right, okay.
Yeah, see, something that I didn't mention earlier, but I'll bring up now is the fact that, Ryan's been mentioning for ages, they're going into pre-production, they're actually going to get it made. And I just kept on saying, I am not going to believe that this show is actually coming out until the episodes are actually here.
Okay.
Because I was just like, it might be a Batgirl situation. I don't fucking know.
They might tax write off it. Who knows? Mergers are happening as we're talking.
Who knows? You're probably not going to hear me on this podcast for another few years. Then.
Who the fuck knows? But I didn't trust it because it's been such a built up thing that never actually happened.
Okay.
I've got a thing I want to mention here too, which is Star Trek, as we all know, often is about adults who are military officers in Starfleet, and they're on a ship and they're on a mission and they're going to strange new worlds and all of that. And we've had mixes on the formula, but this is a big one where it's like, no, we're going to follow the kids. And they're going to be...
who don't have these ingrained principles yet.
And what I wanted to talk about here a bit was just the fact that there has been this desire from people for Star Trek to branch out of just a captain and a crew of people on a spaceship going to places and having sci-fi quandaries. People are like, I want to see civilian life in Star Trek, or I want to see the Academy and all of that. And that's something that we're getting now. This is what we're getting in result of that. And I know, Bartek, for you have barely no experience with Star Trek, and Rachel, you have much more. But how do you feel about that idea of just this desire of we've got to expand out of the formula that has sustained a franchise for basically 60 years at this point?
I'm not too surprised because they have done those variations on it, and it's been something that they've been wanting to do, and they feel like there's enough of an interest to do it. So it just feels like, okay, they're just trying something new. They've got this IP set up, so why not?
And what about you, Bartek? You are someone who engages with some long-running franchises. You mentioned Gundam, where they will twist the formula to shake up how you can do a story or entice people in. Does the concept of that for Star Trek make sense to you? And does an example here's a show about a bunch of young, pretty people laying on the grass, that will entice you into the Star Trek franchise?
So I guess the counter question I would have there is, has every show been about Starfleet people?
Yep.
Okay, so I guess with that in mind, if you've got an idea, then, go for it. It's not something necessarily inherently that I would want. It kind of makes me think of there's a franchise called Terminator,
Mhm.
and they made a film called Terminator Salvation, where they're like, all right, instead of doing the, actual thing that we've been doing in these films, which is, people coming from the future and trying to,
Mhm.
stop time paradoxes, let's do a film that's actually set in that future, so we can do like an action-y thing, and it wasn't, all that good of a film.
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, well, it's an idea you can do, but let's make it actually good. So if there is an idea that they have here, like I don't know what I'm expecting. Like, is this going to be like a sitcom, or is this going to be a bit of a character study kind of thing? I'm not sure. You mentioned, one of you mentioned before that we're going to be following people who haven't had the ideals ingrained in them, right? So my question then is, in all the other shows, or in any of the other shows, I'm assuming you do get an episode or some sort of exposition about characters' lives before they were in Starfleet.
Mhm. Yes, you do.
Yeah, you get aspects of that and what their interests are outside of their jobs.
And oftentimes, I would say, many of them, not all of them, but many of them, their lives before joining Starfleet or being a part of the Federation was one of hardships, and then this has made them be able to live in this
Yeah.
You actually
utopia
answered
world.
answered the question I was about to ask, which
their
is
lives are better for being in Starfleet
yeah. I was
much every single time.
I was going to ask, like, were they more like, I was going to use the word loose, but like, were they a bit more unserious in their prior life before
Some
going
were,
to the
some
academy?
were. Picard, legendarily, when he joined Starfleet, he was a party boy. He was a drinker and a boozer, and he was a ladies' man, and he got stabbed in the heart in a bar fight because he was just so reckless. But then once all of that happened and he became straight and narrow and became the legendary Captain Picard. And even without having watched too much, you know what William Shatner's like, and you know what Captain Kirk is like from pop culture osmosis. He's a bit of a lad, but also his performance when he does Kirk is very straight-laced as well. But like each character before their Starfleet existence have had some level of like something about them needs order in their life or drive or something, whether it is personal ambition or running away from oppression or who knows.
Yeah, so we might have like a little element of, I know this word usually has like negative context, but like a bit of an I've already forgotten the word. Induction,
yes.
Yeah.
Like
And
legendarily,
there's a lot of pro-military kind of messaging around Starfleet.
Indoctrination.
one of the big shakeups, and this show is even playing with that in its poster, was the Klingons were the enemy of the Federation and of Starfleet. And Next Generation made the big change up of having one of them be in Starfleet with Worf.
Yeah, that's right. They were mostly villains.
They were
in the
villains,
show?
only villains.
Yeah.
And in the movies as well. And so it was a big deal to have a former enemy now a part of the Starfleet. And they're even playing with that poster where there's a Klingon there, and we haven't seen Klingons in the timeline, like that far-flung future, at all.
Okay.
So this will be the first time we're really seeing them, and the last time we really engaged with them in the Discovery timeline was they were committing mass genocide and war and destruction.
Like season 2 or something?
Yeah, season 1.
Season
1 and 2. But so it will be interesting to see them play around with that. Rachel, you have made a little pop quiz test
Ooh,
for Bartek.
The PQ.
Yes, I have.
Mm-hmm.
So, first question.
Yes.
What is the name of the ship in most of the shows?
Enterprise?
Yep.
USS Enterprise.
Can you name 3 Star Trek captains?
Kirk, Picard, Janeway.
Nice. Got to go with Janeway.
I gave Ryan this quiz yesterday, and what were your answers for that question? Ryan?
Captain James T. Kirk from the original series, Captain James T. Kirk of the Kelvin timeline, and acting Captain James T. Kirk of Strange New Worlds. It's fun that you could do that nowadays because they just want you to know that Kirk and Spock are the best.
What is the Prime Directive?
Is that where you don't interfere with other planet cultures or something?
Yeah, pretty much.
Why don't they?
Is it because Starfleet is meant to just be observers?
Kind of. Yeah, they have this kind of non-interference act that if they give
For undeveloped world.
whatever that means,
It's like too colonial or something?
It's they
can
they're
advance their
faster
technology too
than
much.
light travel is called warp.
Mhm.
So they're not meant to interfere
there's, like, different
with
levels, right?
pre-warp civilizations.
So civilizations that haven't created warp yet?
Yeah, and once they have, then they can just say, "Hello, we're the Federation. Do you want to be a part of us? Because you're technologically advanced
Oh, so
enough."
are they like secret who they are?
Yeah,
Like we're
Sometimes, yeah.
we're just people.
there's whole episodes
Of
where
going
they
undercover.
of going
okay.
making themselves look like aliens to observe their societies from within. There's
Okay,
whole
I
movies
didn't know
about
that.
that.
I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know that.
The Prime
Okay.
Directive is one of the most fun aspects of Star Trek.
That actually does sound fun.
because there's many questions of if it's good or evil.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't have this one written down, but because you
I'm nailing
gotta,
it, yeah.
you got. Well, no, it's because you've forgot Klingons. So, do you know the name of the aliens with the pointy ears?
Is the Vulcans?
Yes.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
they have like an evil version,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, the evil version
Can you name 3 Vulcans?
in Star Trek. There's 3 main
Like characters.
yeah, 3 big
Okay,
Star
well,
Trek
Spock.
Vulcans.
Mhm.
I can allow. I would allow if you named his dad if you want.
I miss Spock Senior.
No, no.
No.
I swear there was like a Red Letter Media trivia video where they mentioned one of their names, but I can't.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the question that Mike got wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and they had like a name, but I can't remember.
Okay.
I don't know.
There's
To Pring.
Vulcan names are S, like Spock, Sarek,
Okay.
all of that. And the female names are T apostrophe something, to Pring, to Paul, all that. But then to Pow, there's one where it changes though, which is Tuvok, the male
Oh, I've heard that
Vulcan
name.
security of Voyager. He screws it up with a T name, Tuvok, and I love Tuvok.
You've mentioned him before.
I love
yeah.
Tuvok. He's one of my favorite characters.
Now, the next 3 questions are who am I's?
Mm-hmm.
Who am I? I break the rules, trust my instincts, and repeatedly save the Federation by refusing to accept no-win scenarios.
Oh, well, Kirk, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I? My upbringing taught me that emotions are dangerous and must be controlled, yet I continually find myself acting on compassion rather than pure logic. I ultimately rebuild what has been lost, and I'm not afraid to shed a tear.
Spock?
Nope.
No.
No.
Data?
No.
Data. Yeah, no.
No. Okay.
Michael Burnham.
Lead
Oh, that's
character of Star
Destiny.
Trek.
That's a girl name.
Yeah, Star Trek Discovery's lead character, Michael
Right.
Burnham, raised by Vulcans,
Yeah.
sister of Spock.
I look forward to seeing her in Starfleet Academy. Fleet Academy.
It would be bold if they brought her back.
Yeah.
I wonder if they will.
Okay. Who am I? I struggle to understand humanity, rely on logic, and suppress emotion, yet I am not Vulcan. My journey is not about control, but about becoming more human than expected.
Data?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Data, please.
Mr. Data.
Pun Data.
And the last one.
I thought there were 3. Shit.
Who am I? I am Commander Nandi.
Was that 9D?
Nan.
Nan, like Jakar?
Yeah, or the bread.
Oh. So is there an R in it or 2 A's?
It's Nhan, Nan.
Okay. Oh, like Khan,
and,
but with
and then
N.
D is the other name.
Yeah.
So who's that?
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, please repeat the question.
I am Commander Nandi.
Okay. Is it Commander Nandi?
But who is Commander Nandi?
It's a character from Babylon 5 who really loves India.
Do you not know who Nandi is? They're the most important character to this podcast.
I don't know. I'm not sure that I've heard the
They have a
name.
famous catchphrase.
I am Commander Nandi.
No.
It's two words, the same word twice.
Oh.
Go on.
podcast.
Yes, that's it. It's Yum Yum Lady.
Yum Yum,
She's the lady
okay.
that says Yum Yum, and she may appear in Starfleet Academy. We don't know. She's
Well,
in this timeline. She could appear.
That's why I said maybe we'll see Michael.
We may see Commander. You know what, Bartek? You have to write that one down. Commander Nandi. That'll be the most important name going forward because we're going to reference it.
It's Yum Yum Podcast.
It's a
Yeah.
whole important thing for
Do
you
you guys
to
still do the
realize.
thing where you say if an episode's good, it's Yum Yum?
Oh, yeah, of
Well,
course.
then yeah,
Of
it's
course.
got to be important.
It's every episode Rachel explains who Commander Nandi is. And she loves it. So you should listen to more of our podcast to learn about who Commander Nandi is.
I've only listened to the ones I've been on. So yeah.
Expectations of the show fluctuating between us all. I think, Rachel, you out of...
Cynical.
You're the cynic. You've been dragged down by modern Star Trek
Okay.
many times over. So
It doesn't do what I want it to do to be good. I get really frustrated with the type of storytelling that is in a lot of modern Star Trek, and their approach to some themes is just trash.
But you must be excited as a teacher to see a show about teachers and students. You must be excited to see, like, how does a pedagogy look in the future?
No, because Tilly's pedagogy was trash.
Yeah, but now they've got different characters. Tilly got a whole with the backdoor pilot episode.
Tilly was learning how to be a better teacher.
Tilly leaves the show to do that. Like, she left Discovery. That actor was gone, and she was going to be the lead character of this show. But then, because years have passed,
fell apart.
she's no longer the lead character. She gets maybe one episode she'll appear in this season, and that's very funny to think, like, an echo of what was the lead character of this show is now a guest.
Maybe
that's
she's
very good.
Maybe she's going to be like the Sinclair in season 3. She'll turn up and it'll be a really
And
big
it'll be a
deal.
very heroic moment.
Yeah.
I will say that my expectations are a little bit higher and a little bit more over the show, like all over the place, because I see the reaction from people very harshly against the idea of, like, teen soap opera in space. Oh, we're going to do 90210 in space. And look at that poster. Isn't it funny? And I guess what I've learned over the years of covering Star Trek is I've shed a bit more of what I think Star Trek is supposed to be, or like the tenets of Star Trek, because I guess I've seen it change so much from whether we do original series to Next Gen to Deep Space Nine to Enterprise. And with any show, my frustrations often come from not fully realizing the potential and very, very much so. Character stuff, I really hate when they fuck up character stuff, but if anyone's listened to any of our podcasts, the bugbear of mine is not following through on what you promise and not living up to what you said you were going to be. We are covering Killjoys at the moment, and one of my big praises of that show is, even though it may have elements that I don't like per se, I cannot say that it is not being true to what it is. It is being true to what it is. And Discovery pissed me off because it was always changing what it was going to be and never living up to that. I may not love the idea of seeing 90210 in space, but if they actually commit to it and actually follow it through, I will hopefully be able to say, like, look, they did the thing. And I'm gonna protest. I'm gonna say to anyone out there, if they made this show in the 90s like they were hoping to do you not think it would have also been teeny soap opera drama in military academy setting? Because guess what? All of those episodes with Wesley were that anyway. I don't know why people think, like, oh, if they made it back in the golden age of Star Trek TV, it wouldn't have been in the format like this. It would have. It's just now it's been made in an era where there's a lot less trust in the creative team. Now, I'm not saying that it's invalid to be wary or pissed off by this show, but I'm just saying my expectations are a little bit in the middle more so than down below. And why we also have Bartek here is, on our podcast, in our life, we love Paul Giamatti. And Paul Giamatti's the villain or central antagonist. I don't really know much about his role other than, like, he seems like a snarling bad guy. And I love that. And I just like the idea that Paul Giamatti is in a Star Trek show. But I've also watched enough Star Trek and enough, honestly, modern media where they get in some of the best actors you've ever seen and squander them. Like, I always think about going to see Endgame on the IMAX screen and seeing a scene with Michael Douglas in it and saying to myself, it's fucking crazy that the MCU has Michael Douglas and he does jack shit. He's one of the greatest actors and he's in these movies, and it's like, why even bother hiring him?
I want to let the Yumlings know that I knew exactly what Ryan was going to talk about. The only thing I got wrong was I thought you were going to bring up Ant-Man.
Ant-Man, it's like Ant-Man. He's in Ant-Man. And it's like Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer, like all these great actors. And that's how I feel about Paul Giamatti. It's like, I love Paul, but I'm not expecting them to necessarily give me everything I want of such a legendary actor. But then again,
I'm confident I will love him and his performance.
I hope he eats the scenery. That's my one hope. I hope that he just eats the entire scenery.
I have enough faith in Paul Giamatti that I will love him.
The darkest timeline is if he's the thing that ruins the show.
Yeah, legitimately.
Yeah, legitimate fear.
That was a good show, but fucking Paul Giamatti. I can't believe I'm saying this, but fuck him.
I hated the bit where he suddenly turned blue and then he was chasing after that Paul Malcolm in the Middle kid. But do you have any expectations, Bartek?
Honestly, not really, but now that I've seen that poster, I'm just hoping the show isn't cringy.
I think you're going to be disappointed.
I'm hoping it's so cringe.
I think that it is.
If it is going to be cringy...
It's how conscious it's going to be.
Yeah.
I am always perplexed when it comes to Star Trek and its relationship with sex and sexuality because it's horny. It's very horny throughout.
It is not chaste.
It is chaste, like, and because it's chaste, it becomes horny in different ways.
As a show, like you're not getting many sex scenes in the shows. You get sex in the
Star Trek Discovery. Yeah, you get
Kelvin.
sexy. You get sexy things, but because of censors and restrictions and the chaste nature of the show, it becomes extremely horny in different ways. Like Seven of Nine, they wear catsuits and they have
bikinis.
They have outfits with a hole cut in the center, so you have a boob window. Like all of these weird ways of getting around it. What I really wanted just to say about the horny factor is modern Star Trek has been a little less horny. Not saying it's completely gone, but it's been less horny. And they've instead started to pivot to more like celebration of like, inclusivity and diversity, which I think is great.
Yeah, bring back the gay character you killed.
Yeah, bring back the gay character whose neck you snapped, or bring in trans characters who don't do anything on screen. Great representation, guys. But what I really...
You're going to ignore the non-binary character?
Oh, yeah, who they also don't use. And what I absolutely find adorable about Starfleet Academy is... they're like, look at us. We're doing that. Look, we have a very diverse range of actors. We have legacy people coming in, but also, look how fucking hot they are. So many of the photos I've seen are them with their shirts off or with revealing clothes and like smooching and kissing, and it's like, yeah, they're all jacked. They're all ludicrously jacked. But then they have one that's just like, and the hologram girl, she's a bit chubby, and it's like. Feels very tokenistic, and it's like, man, we're back in the 90s. Where it's like, look at all of these babes. Look at all of these babes. Bartek's looking at the poster and laughing. He's got it zoomed in on who I'm talking about.
Oh.
Where it's just like, look at all of these babes.
The fun one or the bad one?
Yeah, exactly.
The bad one, the not fun one.
The fun one. But like, it feels very like 90s Trek, where it's like, look at us. There's Seven of Nine, where her catsuit's so tight, every time she breathes, her bosoms heave. And then also there's Neelix. And it's
Azumanga Daioh would
It's
never.
very tokenistic, and I think it's awesome that we're back to horny Trek that's so blatantly horny, but also denying it, which is just
and
so...
it's just like that girl that is chubby looks barely like mid-sized to me.
But do you have any predictions, Rachel, for... Starfleet Academy? Any ideas of what it could be about or what we're doing? Do you think there'll be a season-long plot, or do you think it'll be episodic?
I think there's going to be an episode that deals with the Kobayashi Maru.
No-win scenarios, always have to.
But specifically the experiment that they do in the Academy of that.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be dealing with that simulation. I I'm expecting there to be a number of simulation things. I think there's going to be some, like, obviously internal conflicts between the cadets.
Always.
I think that they're all going to be in the same class of cadets,
Uh-huh.
and there'll be some bullshittery conflict with the professors. And I don't know if it's going to be like Paul Giamatti is a evil professor or not.
He's evil holdovers, yeah.
He's Professor Snape.
He's Snape.
And
Could you imagine him as Snape?
my wild card prediction is that there's going to be an inappropriate relationship between one of the characters and one of the professors.
Rachel loves that.
No, in all fairness, in that type of environment, that's usually a story you go to.
Yep.
The college environment, because these are college kids. They're not like high schoolers. So it's still creepy, but less.
It's still an abuse of power.
My big predictions are we're going to have a season-long plot, because we always do. But we're going to dress it up with the first few episodes are episodes, like normal little episodic plots, but then they're going to be breadcrumbs.
Then the show really begins.
Yeah, and then the show really begins.
I agree.
I think that the Klingon character is going to be the most embarrassing one. I think he's going to make me upset. His name, I already know what his name is, and I'm not going to tell you because it's going to be fun to see it when it happens. But let me just say it's embarrassing and upsetting and lame, and I hate it, and I want to die.
I am now wondering if he's going to be like a manosphere type character.
My sister keeps saying I'm very worried about that Klingon because he manscapes and he's very smooth. They've airbrushed him to shit. Out of everyone, he's the airbrushed, and it's like, are they worried about the prosthetic looking not real? So they're airbrushing it. But my other big predictions is I'll love Robert Picardo as the Doctor still. He's my favorite. He's always in my top 3 characters of Star
Trek. You love your Doctor
Trek.
characters. You love the Doctor in particular.
We'll see how he's utilized, and Bartek can discover the joys of him as a character. I imagine he's only going to be sprinkled as a little breadcrumb. I look forward to hating that Paul Giamatti will be a villain who has revenge motivation, a grudge against the Federation, and he has a super weapon. Because that's every Star Trek villain since Wrath of Khan, which is a guy has a vendetta against Starfleet or our main characters and obtains a super weapon, and our heroes must stop them.
We've got to
from
get the
using
series
this.
of MacGuffins.
It seems like a pretty stock sci-fi plot.
Yeah,
as well.
and yes, it is, and they've been using it still to this day. It's the thing of Star Trek has never, in my mind, really had great villains. They've had great little antagonists and great people who motivate like theological, ideological, philosophical musings, but there's only ever been a handful of like truly great villain characters. And it's because oftentimes they're boring, or they don't really serve the function of like, we need a villain, or it's a bad guy with a super weapon.
I think I'm going to make bingo cards.
It's very stock in that way. But Bartek, any predictions on your end of what this could be? What could happen?
It's going to be Full Metal Jacket, the beginning part.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they did that? Because you should really watch Space Above and Beyond, because they do Full Metal Jacket in the first episode. They even have Ali Omi there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So worth checking out.
I still have your DVD of it. I have to get around to it.
Maybe you can pair it with this.
So boot camp to start with. What else?
I really don't know.
No hopes for the G-Man? Giamatti?
I hope I like him.
How much do you think we're going to see him? Do you think he's going to be front, back end heavy, even throughout?
Maybe it was like a compromise to what Ryan was saying about how, we start off with a little bit of, normal times, but then like the twist will happen when he becomes front and center. Or I jokingly brought up Professor Snape before, but maybe he'll be sprinkled in at the beginning as like, oh, he's the mean one, but then it picks up and it's like, oh, he's the really mean one.
How do you think you're going to feel about the Doctor?
I don't know. How am I going to feel about anyone?
How are you gonna feel? I want to really.
Ryan likes
but
him,
I
Garrett,
want
so-
to
Yeah.
bathe. I can't
Do-
wait to bathe in when this show is a nostalgia fest, even though it's supposed to be introduction. That's why I wanted Bartek here. We are biased. We know enough about Star Trek, so when they make these winks and nods and whole scenes dedicated to revealing, like, David Cronenberg is playing this character from Star Trek Enterprise, to you and I, it can seem like a real, okay, but how does this work for people who don't know that? And then people would say, no, it's subtle enough where you can still enjoy a thing. Like, we've watched shows where maybe, you know, Bartek's showing us something that's part of a long-running franchise, but we're seeing a little sliver of it, and you can understand it well enough, maybe one
That
or
was
two
a big
things.
thing when we saw Fate Zero last year. Yeah.
And so maybe the one or two things, but for you and I, that's a part of why Bartek should be here as a
Yep.
newcomer, of like, you can be our gauge of like, does this make sense?
I'm the control group.
And I want to also just see Bartek's reaction or hear Bartek's reaction to this simple thing. The look of this series, the look of modern Star Trek will be something
That'll
that
be-
we are now accustomed to,
Yeah.
but I wonder what it will be like for someone who has not really participated.
I'm going to ask Bartek a few more questions to try and round
Go
out
for it, go
this
for it.
hypothetical bingo card that I may or may not end up actually making. Do you think anybody's going to have a pet?
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe.
Has pets been a big thing in recent Star Trek?
Pet. There was a pet in Discovery.
It was a cat.
Oh, there
and
was
there's a cat in
fuck you, she's a
TNG.
queen, right?
Yeah, Grudge the cat.
Yeah.
You know
So
the
do you
famous
think-
line.
Do you think there's going to be a pet cat?
Do you
Yes
think,
or no?
I think Grudge will appear.
Okay.
I think
Did
Grudge,
Grudge
will...
go to the future?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Grudge is from the
Yeah,
future.
Grudge is from
Oh,
the future.
they're from the future.
They're from
so
the
do you
future.
Think, do you think Grudge will appear, and do you think somebody else will have a pet cat?
If Grudge appears, either that will happen or Grudge's child.
Grudge is a girl.
The princess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
What was the line?
Okay.
Fuck you, she's a queen?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Wow.
It's a great line.
Oh,
And he says it like, she's a queen, because he's kicking someone off an
The,
elevator.
Yeah.
the younglings are now like, oh, he knows too much already.
He doesn't. He didn't know who Commander Nandi was. The ultimate sin of man.
Okay.
Didn't even know it was a woman.
We have talked to you off mic quite a bit about the awful one-liners.
Yum yum.
Now, do you think the worst one-liner is going to come from Paul Giamatti?
Don't do that. Don't say he'll give us a bad line. He'll give us great lines.
Oh yeah, but also like context is for kings. I see as an awful line that is also amazing. So it doesn't negate that. So is it going to be from Giamatti, the Doctor, or Tilly?
No. The Klingon. Or the Klingon.
Who's going to have the worst
Yeah.
line?
Who's going to have the worst line?
Look, I think for me, just Paul Giamatti's going to be immune to that. Like, even if the
Thank you.
even if the show's like
He
literal,
knows.
even if the first 3 seconds of this show is the worst line of the entire show and it's from Paul Giamatti, I'm gonna react to it like, oh, that's funny
Okay.
because Paul
You
said
know what?
it.
You know what? I'm gonna be. I want to be like that, but a part of me could see him as a villain grabbing out a vape and then saying some cringe 2010s type line, even though it's 2020s now. Like it's one of those where he'll be
so
like, "Skibbity doo,
He
children."
needs to quote like a different film of his every episode. Like we need a shoot 'em up quote. We need a
Big Fat Liar,
Big Fat Liar,
Thunderpants.
Thunderpants.
Okay, so it's not Giamatti. Do you think it's going to be the Doctor or Tilly?
Well, right,
Or-
you guys like the Doctor, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it will be him then.
I feel
Because
like
they hate me. He's
I
a
don't know,
funny
I feel-
character.
Look, obviously, I don't have the context.
Oh
but
yeah, it's just
I
guesses.
feel like if you like the character, you can forgive her.
Or it can be worse for you.
I guess it depends on your personality. For me,
Yeah.
I feel like I'd just be like, oh, that was silly. If it's
Yeah.
not like a betrayal.
That's the problem.
Like if it's someone
If
who's
the-
like,
okay.
oh, I'm invested in this
if the
person's...
Doctor comes in and he's happy-go-lucky, I'll be very upset.
So we've
Okay.
we've touched on the Klingon character and the
It's gotta be
potential
him.
pitfalls of him, but also Tilly gave us a number of the worst lines of Discovery,
But I think she's
but
only going
she's
to be in
going
one
to be in
episode.
it less. So
They could give us a high dosage from her one appearance. Like
okay, so
every
you're
line.
leaning towards Tilly.
I think the better question would be,
You know what?
who in this cast of characters on the poster do you think you will like just by looking at them?
Before that, I'm looking at that poster again, right? The funny one.
We'll never stop looking at it, yeah.
Do you guys know any of these characters? Like, are
No,
these
they're all
new?
new.
These are all new. I'm just going to say this one on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Complete blind guess, he's going to have the worst line.
Okay.
I don't know anything
Okay.
about him, don't have any feelings about him. I'm just blindly guessing and we'll see if I'm right.
Okay.
You
So it's
sound
the
like-
character on the right with like the singlet.
Yep.
You really Shatnering
Okay.
it up. I don't know the guy. I don't know the guy.
I don't know what he's about.
I don't know what he's about.
Why did he invite me to the wedding? Because he asked
Okay.
Kirk. That's right.
I think at some point there's going to be a lecture that is about or refers to a variety of the captains that we know, even though there's so much more history of
It's been
Starfleet.
nearly 1,000 years, but they're
Yeah.
still going to talk about Spock. Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lecture that's about Kirk.
Oh, there's going to be one about Archer, and there's going to be always...
Yeah, about
there's-
Archer.
There's going to be one about Siska. There's always going to be
Okay.
some bullshit Easter egg.
Bartek, what captain do you think is going to be lectured about?
Yeah, no.
You can pick one that we've also said.
Pike.
Pike?
I mean, yeah, Pike's pretty big.
Yep.
He said beep beep. That's his famous beep beep.
Mm-hmm.
Beep, one beep for yes, two beeps for no.
The youngling's like, he knows Pike now. Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, that does leave us off on one of the greatest South Park
Okay.
jokes ever created, was the Pike gag with the beep beeps.
Another one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that all of them are going to be engineering students.
No, they have to have at least one medical student.
Okay, at
even
least
though they
one
won't do
medical?
it. Look,
I think everybody's going to have an engineering background.
oh, they love engineering in modern
do.
Star Trek.
Someone's going to have a psychology
What
background.
do you think their
Oh,
majors?
they
Oh,
should.
psych background /
Should.
counselor.
Look, I think that's a great thing. I would love an oddball pick. I would love one of them to honestly be like a linguist, because they had one in Enterprise that was
yeah.
a linguist, and it was like a unique skill.
It
and now
was.
we have the universal
And,
translator, and now no one does it.
Uhura has
Communications, yeah.
but is very knowledgeable about different languages and knows a lot of different
Wouldn't
languages.
it be bold if they have none of these characters want to become a captain? Wouldn't that be like a bold twist? Because it's always like,
Yeah,
I've got to
that's always
become a
that
captain.
track.
I've got to become a leader.
You know,
Wouldn't it be nice if one of them's like, I just want to be like a
I just want
lieutenant?
to explore.
Yeah, I mentioned to you a couple of weeks ago that there's this YouTube channel that I've been watching videos from, Joshua Fluke.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy that does videos about, business industries and how, recruiting managers and just like the toxic things that they do and they say. And a lot of his videos talk about like the recent trends in the younger generation, in working. And you mentioned before that this show is targeting the younger generation, right?
Mm.
A big trend is like people these days just want to like have a job and not necessarily get promoted.
Mm.
They're
Yeah.
happy to just live with the job that they get and like maybe get some,
Perks.
some perks, some raises and stuff, but they don't want to actually become like leader of the company, work their way up the corporate ladder.
And I think that would actually work great because in the timeline of this series, they are coming off of a fairly post-apocalyptic event in the timeline. Like this series, in theory, should be about the Federation / Starfleet rebuilding and reforming from having been on a decline for the last century or two. So that would actually be pretty good, like, to line up. Will they do that? We'll have to wait and see. I
Okay.
think my favorite character on the poster is going to be the hot chick. Which one, you may ask? Great question.
the slightly upside down one.
Yeah, the slightly... Bartek knew. He knew. There's...
I think that they're going to use the phrase quiet quitting
Oh, to be modern.
and lean in.
Lean in. Well, that, I think, is pretty much all of our Starfleet Academy theories, questions, pondering of the world. We'll have to
I've got another
wait
wild
and
card.
see. Yes, yes.
All right, establishing shot, enter a classroom, camera goes in, whiteboard, someone like pulls down the thing to show what's written on the whiteboard, all caps, and they, got like a crop stick that they point at it and it says yum yum. It's like, what does this mean?
I thought this is going to be like...
Why is this the appropriate response when somebody asks you if you want to go murder somebody?
I will not be shocked if we spend maybe across, I think it's like 10 to 11 episodes, across the 10 and 11 episodes, if we spend at
There's
in the
going-
classroom 4 scenes. I would not be shocked
No,
if
I
they
wouldn't be
went
shocked
that
either.
minimal with it, because this is This is how it goes, but we will have
So
to
less
wait
than
and
5
see.
scenes in a classroom.
Across the whole series, yeah. They're going to show me up in the first episode. They're going to have like all of it in the classroom just to fuck me specifically. But I'm making
Ooh.
that bet now. I bet we're going to spend so little time in the classroom. It's going to be on field, on a ship.
3 experiment-based montages.
Oh, only that many.
Yep.
Very bold. But that is it.
I didn't say per episode or per season.
Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for joining us here. Come into our discussions in the future on the Starfleet Academy show. We shall be doing it every fortnight, covering the 2 episodes in a bundle.
Sorry.
Yes.
Can I
You should be
please
sorry.
make the free space Vulcans are jerks?
Vulcans are jerks. Yeah, because Vulcans... Oh, in your bingo card?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Vulcans, if they appear at all, they're technically no longer called Vulcans now in the future. They're called Nivarians, Rachel. These are the things we can talk about with Bartek when we watch episodes. And he goes, what's Nivar? It's like, well, you see, Bartek, Vulcan is now rejoined with Romulans, and they call themselves Nivarians now.
Mm-hmm. But they still have the
Oh.
division of Vulcan and Romulan on the planet.
But you can find us on all of your social medias and podcasting sites, yumyumpod or yumyumpodcast. Make sure to leave us a rating and review. Let us know your thoughts. Are you keen? Are you excited? Are you worried? Are you angry? Are you fucking mad? Or whatever it is about Starfleet Academy coming out, its existence. I am still my mouth agape that it exists. But I say that, but I've yet to watch an episode, so maybe it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
It's
I don't know
Schrodinger's
if it'll
Academy.
exist in a way that I actually get to watch it. I don't. It's not here yet, so I don't believe it.
But until next time, everyone, please ponder this as we leave here today. Something to think about, something to muse on. If you were in Starfleet Academy, what would you want to study there? What would you want to study there? Me? I would love to study random alien animals. There's got to be, like, we know that there are random alien animals out there.
Xenobiology.
Yeah, xenobiology to an extent, yes, but specifically just like their weird little pets and animals. I want to know about
Xenozoology?
Yeah, Rachel,
Would that be
would you
what
want to
it was?
study anything in particular at Starfleet Academy?
I don't know.
Would you want to teach there? You're a teacher. I also am. You're both teachers. I am both.
I'm a substitute teacher. I want to substitute.
You're still a
at-
teacher,
at
yeah.
Substitute at the Starfleet Academy.
Yeah, they might.
All right, I don't know anything about this, but give me the lesson plan. I'll teach it.
I imagine that's Big Giamatti's role. He's a villain, and he's like, and that's why he's evil because he doesn't give a fuck.
All
He's
right,
like, man, whatever.
So last time you guys were talking about Prime Directive. Now, can anyone tell me what that is? Just so I know what you guys know.